Well, we've learned how to do some roses, and that's fun, but you need something to go with it. So before I move on to leaves, I'm going to show you some buds. I've got my brush. I'm going to give it a nice dip into the Everclear. I'm going to reload for some pink. Dipping my toe in the white and my heel in the claret. And I think I want a bud to go about here and have some leaves in between. So for a bud, you just want to make a nice little hoop. Come in, remember, a bud has a wide bottom. And then I like to put just a little, it's just opening. So when I go and put the calyx on, there's something interesting about that bud. Alright, let's move on to leaves. That was pretty simple. So we're going to move on to leaves. We're going to move down to a 1/4 angles shader. And I want some of my leaves to come down this way. So what I'm going to do, I'm using 2 different greens. I'm going to put the body of my brush in that moss green. Maybe lighten it with some white. So again, my brush is 2/3 of the way full with that green. I am then going to dip my toe, which is the opposite of what we were doing, into my darker green, which in this case is gooseberry, and my heel in some white, just for a little bit of contrast. You don't have to do the white, but it's nice. And then all you want to do for a leaf, and I want this leaf to be kind of angled, coming in from this rose maybe, is just make a nice little line. Come on to your line, just pull out a little less, and pull out a little bit. Same thing for the other side. I'm going to pull out a little less, and bring it down. And there you have your leaf. You can add your stem on. We're going to go in and shade a little bit later. I'll show you that one more time. So I want it angled this way. I'm again going to draw my light line. And you're going to come up and over a little, and barely up and over. Up and over, up and over, and barely up and over. I'm going to fix this right there. And that's it for leaves. You can add a little stem on if you want. Like I said, later on we're going to go in and do some shading. So it's time to add some of the greenery. As you see, we've added the rest of the leaves in that we're going to add. So I'm going to add the rose hip onto my rose. And you always want to work with at least 2 colors to give it definition. And just kind of bring those calyx in a little bit thicker at the bottom. Follow your rose. And there you go. This guy's a little bit too wet, so we're going to try and get him in. Remember, we're just adding a little bit of calyx. We don't want anything too long, anything up in the air, just a little bit of framing. We'll go back and add some shading later. Alright, so we still have some space right in here. We wouldn't really want to add any more roses in there. So we're going to go ahead and add a few mysteria or lilacs. So let's fill in some of this dead space. And I told you I was going to work with a little bit of dust. So I've got my dust, and I'm going to do a little bit of purple. I've got a little bit of Wedgwood blue and some white. And the way you want to load this one would be you'd put your blue on one side, your purple on the other, and you would put your white where your blue is, because it's your lighter color. So you're going to come in and you're just going to make, I almost went to the wrong place, that would have been horrible. And you're just going to make little petal marks, kind of like this. And don't really worry about it, because we're going to come back over it with some more purple. We just want to kind of keep it just kind of coming down a little bit. Don't get too tied up in these. We're not trying to make them look too much like anything major. We're going to load our scruffy with a little bit of that purple. And a scruffy is just a brush that literally is scruffy. I'm going to go over some of this with the purple. And all I'm doing is pounding. That's why you want to wait until your fondant has set. You would not want to cover your cake, your cookie, or whatever you're making, and then just start painting, because you'll dent it and make marks. So we're just going to come in. And the scruffy does not hold that much. We just want to kind of make some purple, add some color in there. And to load it, you pounce on it. If you're really angry at your husband or your kid that day, this would be a great brush to play with. And now I'm just going to go in with a number 2 round with just a smidge of white. Not a lot, very little amount, just enough to shade in there, kind of give it a petally look. Or you could even go in fact, I'm going to change. I don't like the way that's looking, so we'll just change out to our angle shader. You can do it with your angle shader just as well. And since I'm going to do it with the angle shader, I'm running out of space. We're going to then add just a smidge of color to that white. And just go in and up. Just add a little petally looking thing. You just want to push your brush down and push up. Just add a little bit of color in there. And now I'm just going to go in with some basic white, kind of soften that up a little bit. And my white just went into my green, so give me a second here, please. We'll get rid of a little bit more of the Everclear. So I'm going to put a little bit of purple, a little bit of white. I'm just going to come up in here and add some petals. And that's about it. You can go through and add them in as much as you want. It wouldn't go too overboard with some of this dead space. You want to leave enough space so that you have some composition. Obviously, if this was what my cake was going on, the only thing that would be decorated would be that 1 inch on the outside. But for the purpose of showing you this, this is pretty much, I've shown you how to do a rose, and then in our previous video, and then we moved on to the leaves and the wisteria lilacs looking flowers. So I hope you had fun with this. I hope you'll try painting on some fondant, and the next time I see you, we'll be painting a cake. Thank you.